For some reason, the very first thing I want to do right now is like apologize for the way my face looks, which is fucking stupid because I should not need to apologize for the fact that I don't look perfect all the time, or like whatever Instagram and society just decides is perfect. This is like what I look like when I'm having a bad skin day and I'm putting on makeup because I feel like it, not because I think it's wrong to look like this. So I do look like this though, if you guys just want to know what happened. I'm just gonna like talk while I do this. I don't have anything in mind. I kind of wanted to try and work out a one palette today to the best of my ability, so I decided to go with the Too Faced chocolate bar because I just talked about it in my palette video. I'll link it up here. So if there's things that are cut out or skipped or whatever, then it's just for the sake of editing this down and getting it nice and condensed. So I'm gonna go ahead and moisturize. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. So the reason my skin is looking so bad right now, or just looking like it's having a hard time, I should say, I think it's like one of two things. I was having like some breakouts. I've been having breakouts ever since I moved to Tennessee. I don't know if it's the water, I don't know if it's the climate change, whatever. My skin's just kind of freaking out a little bit, which is okay, it's not the end of the world. But I went and had a chemical peel a couple of weeks ago and I broke out so bad afterwards, and I think that's normal. I think that was everything kind of sitting underneath my skin. So that went on for about a week. And then it was fine, and then I proceeded to do some things after that I think made it worse, and I've just been kind of going through like a process of elimination, trying to figure out which thing in my routine, if there is anything in particular that's been doing this, like which thing it's been. So first thing I thought it was my sunless tanner, which is why my face is so stark compared to my body. So I stopped putting my sunless tanner on my face altogether. Usually my face and body, stuff everywhere. Usually my face and body are different colors regardless because I exfoliate so much. But it's like not even getting on my face at all anymore, so it's all the more noticeable. Hold that thought. Woo, feels good. Then I have it in my bathroom. I wish I brought it for the sake of like showing you what I'm talking about. Charlotte Tilbury has this, it's called the Skin Goddess Face Mask. I'll put a picture of it like right here. I've got that and I was using it, and it was one of those things where I did not want to accept that that was the thing that was causing the breakout. So I've been using it, and every time I use it I break out. So I'm thinking that's what it is. I'm gonna have to gift it to somebody and like get rid of it, because as much as I like what it does to my skin before I put it on, I'm obviously not jiving with it very much. Like, this is the worst my skin's been in a very long time. Not the end of the world. I just kind of want to get to the bottom of it and figure out what the problem is. Brows really quick. I think I'm just gonna speed through that because I do have a no, do I want to do my brows yet? What do I want to do? Really quick, I'm just gonna speed through this part on the video because I do have a brow tutorial. I'll link it somewhere around here if you guys want to check it out. So I'll be right back. So I did my brows and I went ahead and primed my eyes, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my foundation because I want to do my concealer, because I want to wrap the eye look that I'm doing completely around my eyeball, and I can't do my lower lash line until my concealer's done, blah, 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 blah. So I'm gonna use the Dior Air Flash mixed with the La Mer foundation, only because the colors are good for me right now. I know they don't break me out, and the coverage is nice, but the consistency is really thin and light, which I'm really into these days. So as indicated in the title of the video, I am doing a giveaway, and I'm giving away the Naked 1, Naked 2, and Naked 3 palettes from Urban Decay. I'll show you guys the palettes at the end of the video because they're over there and I'm over here. So I know that in my eyeshadow palette video I made a comment about how, well, I didn't say I didn't like them, I just said that I don't get a lot of use out of them, and if you don't think you're gonna get a lot of use out of them, then I wouldn't buy them. That doesn't mean that other people don't love them, and that doesn't mean that other people wouldn't love to have them. And me personally, I have the ones that I want, so there's no point in me keeping them. So as I said on Snapchat, you know, if they were kind enough to give them to me and I don't have a use for them, I feel like it's my obligation to give it to someone who does really, really want to have them. And The criteria for this particular giveaway is well, you have to be subscribed to this channel, number one, obviously. And you also have to be following me on Instagram. You can pick which one. I have two, as I said in my last video. One of my Instagrams is like only beauty, and the other one is a little bit, I call it my personal Instagram because makeup to me is not very personal. It's this thing that I like, but it's not everything in the world to me. So you can subscribe to the makeup Instagram, or you can subscribe to my personal one, doesn't matter. One more thing you have to do, and this is just because I really want to see it. I want you guys, on bar of this video, to comment something that makes you feel very naked. And by naked, I mean vulnerable, something that maybe you've been wanting to do for a long time, but you're really scared to do it, or maybe you have an insecurity that you're trying to get past. Like, the whole theme of this video is just transparent honesty, and I kind of feel like if I'm gonna put it out there, then I'd like to see you guys do it also. And I want you guys to be supportive of each other. I'm not gonna tolerate hateful comments on this video at all. Not that I get a whole lot of them, you guys are pretty rad about that, but I hate this place that we're in on the internet where, you know, the massive irony of it is like we're more connected than ever, but we take this opportunity to be connected and be closer and create ginormous divides between ourselves. Just because we want to be dicks. Like, I don't understand that. Everyone has stuff. Everyone has things that they're dealing with and they're going through. And I understand some people need to use negativity on the internet as their way of getting it out. Like, I just feel like it's just such a toxic, festering way of dealing with your problem. So let's like come together and let's be real and talk about some real stuff. So like I said, down below, anything that you've been dealing with, a vulnerability, anything along those lines, or you can just talk about maybe something that you've really been carrying on your heart or on your mind that you care about, anything. Just write something down there below that doesn't have anything to do with makeup, just because that's, you know, like I said before, this is this thing, makeup is this thing, but it is not the only thing. If you guys can't tell, I've been going through some shit lately, but it's good. This year's been interesting so far. In a good way. I feel like I'm growing a lot as a person, and I've been trying to kind of sort through some things in my personal life and trying to figure out why, you know, I've said this before, as much as I love YouTube and makeup, it's just not fulfilling me anymore. And I've been carrying a lot of guilt about that because I've invested so much time and money and energy and 6 years of my life on this, and to be here now and just being like, I don't know, man, I don't know if this is what I want to do. It's scary. Doing makeup on clients and photo shoots is a horse of a totally different color. Like, that's different. I will never get tired of that. That is my true passion with makeup. I really believed when I started my YouTube channel that it was gonna translate the same way. I'm like, oh, I love doing makeup on other people, so obviously I'm gonna love doing it myself on camera, and that's just not true at all. I feel like the beauty industry, as it pertains to the blogging area at least, is so image conscious. Like, it's all about what you look like. And that's a struggle for me because I'm not a model. I'm not, like, I can fake the funk and make it work, but like, I'm not this massively, and I'm not saying this to fish for compliments, I'm not this massively like gorgeous human being, and I don't really aspire to be, you know what I mean? Like, to an extent, because I just don't care enough, especially not at this point in my life. Like, I'm 31 years old. I cannot spend the rest of my life chasing down the unattainable idea of perfection just to make a YouTube channel. You know, I'm human, so I do have those days where I just feel ugly and gross. Like today, like I told you guys, my skin is going through a really rough patch, and all I want to do is hide. I don't want to be on camera right now like this. But then it was one of those things where I was like, Whitney, you know, with any luck, your subscribers watch you because they like you as a person and they like to hear what you have to say, and it's not so much about what you look like. I hope my subscribers aren't like that, because it's something I just can't maintain forever. I don't want to. So I forced myself to get on here today for that reason. And I'm also forced myself not to apologize for what I look like in the beginning of the video, which is something I've always done when I do Chit Chat Get Readies with me, where you're just kind of seeing the whole scope of what I got going on for an unspecified amount of time. And it's like, why do we do that? You know, why can't I just be having a bad hair day, or why can't I just have gained 10 pounds because I've been enjoying time with my family and that be okay? But because I do beauty videos, it's like this pressure, and maybe I'm just putting it on myself and it's something I have to work through and grow from, which is okay. That's kind of what I'm all about. But I don't wanna spend my entire life just talking about things that are fun, they're cool, but they ain't solving world hunger. If anything, like I said before, I feel like the beauty community, as far as the blogging sphere goes, is the ugliest. I follow a lot of other types of content. I follow books, I follow veganism, I follow fitness, I follow art journaling, I follow writers, I follow kind of philosophers and thought leaders. Like I consume a lot of content. I really don't even watch like traditional media anymore. It's crazy. But I never see anything quite like what I see in terms of just hateful speech and communication between people the way that I see it on the beauty community. And it's like over nothing. It's almost always over nothing. The types of insults that people sling at each other it's just shit that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, who has more followers and who's prettier, as if there's some like fucking real, actual measurable standard of beauty somewhere, which there isn't, which is why this feels so crazy sometimes to me. One of my favorite things that I always tell one of my girlfriends when she's feeling really down on herself and feeling like she's not pretty, I always tell her, like, think of a Christmas tree and think of a cherry blossom tree. Which one's prettier? Like, they're both beautiful, they're entirely different, and that's how we are as people. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm probably getting way too deep with this. I told you guys I was just gonna be really honest with you, so here we go. After my last video, I made a comment on it where I said I was gonna start posting other types of content. I had so many of you guys, it was really sweet actually, writing me on Snapchat or in the comments down below of the video, but mostly on Snapchat, being like, please don't stop making beauty videos. Oh my gosh, please don't stop making beauty videos. And I'm here to tell you, like, I'm not gonna stop making beauty videos. I'm not. In fact, it's gonna be a while before I'm even posting enough different types of content on my channel for you guys to even like really take notice of, because it's something I have to work my way up. But it's almost like I'm intention setting, I'm putting it out into the universe, and now that I've said it, I don't want to take it back. I will continue to do beauty related content because it is something that I do enjoy. I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with enjoying it. I just can't make it my life's work, man. Like, as much as I thought I could. At least not on YouTube. Doing it professionally, different story, but on YouTube, I feel like if I have this platform and I have people listening to me, do I really want to contribute further to this mass message that's been going on for decades, really only just like getting worse and worse as time goes on? And that message is fix yourself, buy something, fix yourself. You know what I mean? So it's actually it's actually very rainy outside today. It's gonna be that way all weekend. I don't really mind it so much, but it's definitely put me in kind of like I wanna do something kind of dark and grungy, which is always my favorite kind of looks to do in general. So that's what we're doing today. I don't really know how it's gonna turn out, so if it's just like something I've done a million times, then I'm sorry. Can I just say, the one thing about Tennessee, since I've been here, that like I don't think anybody could have prepared me for, is how, I said this on my Facebook, my personal Facebook the other day, is how freaking beautiful it is here. It probably got a lot to do with how much rain we get. I'm not used to that. Georgia, we get, well obviously like Nevada, when I lived in Vegas, there was almost no rain. We went so long without rain in Vegas most of the time that I kind of forgot that it rained, like that was a thing. And in Georgia, it's pretty, but we have a lot of droughts. Like, we don't get a lot of rain during the hot months, but here it feels like it rains so often, and it's very hilly. Like, it's not flat at all, so anywhere you are, you just see tons and tons of landscape everywhere, and it's so freaking green, and there's so many trees and weeping willows, and it's just so gorgeous. Like, when I'm driving, I'm always just like trying not to miss anything because it just takes my breath away how gorgeous it is out there. I'm just saying, if you're ever able to come to Tennessee, especially like around Nashville and up north above Nashville in particular, it's so beautiful. Okay, so we're working out of this palette today. Use this color for sure. So I feel like I'm gonna end up using this and I can't get my finger down, and this one. I'm gonna be pretty messy with this. I don't mind. Like I said, I feel like I haven't done anything like grungy. I call it grungy because I just like it when it's like kind of messy, lived in, and I take the lash line like down to my chin. That's my favorite. And then you pair like a darker lip with it. Ugh! You guys, I have been on a new music kick lately. I don't know, like anytime I'm just like really bored and I actually just insist on having my phone in my hand for long periods of times, I actually get on Spotify and start browsing through the already made playlists that they have. And I'm just like listening to new stuff and adding new stuff to my ever-growing Spotify playlist collection. I really need to get in there and organize it. I feel like my life will feel so complete when I have all my playlists organized. I have one that I just stick everything in that I like. If I hear a new song and I just want to save it, I put it in this playlist I have called Tasty Jams, and it's just really all over the place. And then I have like a lot of gym playlists that I make for when I want to go to the gym, but I also listen to those when I'm trying to get like crunk. So like before I'm going to a gig or something, if I just need to like get all up in my head and start feeling myself, I'll listen to those playlists. I want to like really get up in there, man. I want like a rainy day playlist and a playlist that I want to listen to when I'm writing, and a playlist I want to listen to when it's sunny outside, and playlists I want to listen to when, I don't know, my dog is being especially snuggly that day. I don't know, I'm a weirdo. But anyway, I've been on this new music playlist and I have found so many cool new bands and songs. So get on my Tasty Jams playlist and scroll to the bottom. There's like 500 songs on there, so it's gonna take you a minute. But that's where all my new favorite stuff is, and I've been having a good old time with it, I gotta say. But totally random commandum, and something I would have never anticipated in a million years that I would be feeling, is that new Harry Styles album, man. Like, I'm not much of a pop music person, not at all. But I was at this little like play place with my kid the other day, and I could just hear it playing like off in the distance somewhere. And I was like, what is this? What am I listening to? What am I hearing? And I just typed in the lyrics that I could hear on Google, which is what I do anytime I hear a song when I'm out in public and I want to know what it is. And it turned out it was Harry Styles. When I got in the car, I turned it on and I was just like, what? It sounds like Billy Joel. Like, it's so crazy. And then I actually like started listening to the whole album, and I'm really impressed because I feel like a lot of times these like more poppy kind of musicians, they are all kind of doing the same. They are, I'm sorry, you can argue with me all day and twice on Sunday. They're all kind of doing the same thing. And I feel like he's really taking a totally different direction, and that's super cool to me. I get really, really inspired by things like that. Hey, you know, people are doing all the same thing. What I mean is, like, I feel like they all create music that's very unrelatable. Not all of them, not all the time. I'm not saying they're not talented or whatever, but it's not my cup of tea because, I don't know, man. There's only so many songs about butts and hooking up and being at a club and who has the most money. Like, you can't tell a theme here. I just can't relate to that stuff, so I don't want to listen to it. Isn't that funny? I find it's the most interesting thing that, like, the most popular stuff, I feel, and I'm talking even with like TV, if you think about like the Real Housewives franchises or the Kardashians or like whatever, it's all this stuff that nobody can relate to. It's all rich people problems and rich people lifestyles, and like, what is it? 1% of people live like that, and why watch it? You know what I mean? Like, it's so interesting how the content we consume the most is the content that can be related to the very least in some ways. Like, I think it gives people a false impression of what really matters. I sound like I'm on such a high horse today, right? It's just what I've been thinking about a lot. Let's let's smoke out that lash line a little bit, shall we? Shall we? So I'm gonna take this Makeup Forever Aqua XL color paint in the color I-80, and I'm just gonna put that on the mobile part of my lid, and then I'm gonna run one of, I mean, I might not add anything on top of it, I don't know, but if I decide to, it'll be this color. I have a viewfinder below the camera and it like flips it, so sometimes I can't get it together. With this look. I feel like it already looks kind of bad, but like, they can't all be winners. About making a video about like my top 5 makeup tips, and the funny thing is I actually wrote it out. I started writing a script for it to get an idea of like what I wanted to cover, and I felt like the underlying theme in the entire video, just from what I had written down, was don't overthink it, don't overthink it, don't overthink it, don't overthink it. And that's the damn truth. Like, don't overthink it. I get so many very specific questions about makeup all the time. Like, I get questions like, well, what eyeshadow should I wear if I have hazel eyes? And like, what eyeshadow should I wear if I wear a green dress? Like, and I just always feel like, don't put so many rules on yourself. Like, for example, I don't like rules that say like certain makeup looks are good for certain times of the year. I've said that before also, where I'm just like, I kind of do what I want to do. Like, right now, I'm sure there's not a lot of people busting out like this kind of a smoky eye with a dark lip in the middle of June, but this is just what I feel like doing today. I'm not thinking about it. So I went to this bookstore that's in Nashville the other day. It's called Parnassus Books. It's a local bookstore, meaning it's locally owned and operated. And at first, I just wanted to go and check it out because I usually read books on my Kindle, or my iPad I should say. But when we were there, I was like just so caught up in the spirit of the place. I actually bought a few physical books. And I kind of forgot how much I enjoy holding and seeing a real book. Is that weird? Are you guys readers? Like, what do you read on normally? And do you ever switch it up? And if so, what do you think when you do? I read this book. I just finished it last night. I actually posted about it on Snapchat. It's called Behind Her Eyes. Let me tell you guys something. I read all the time. Like, at least a book a week, if not more, depending on what I have going on. I've always been a reader since I was like a youngin', but I read a lot of, sometimes I read nonfiction, but if I read fiction, it is very like suspense or horror. God, that's such a hard word to say for me saying it as often as I do. It's definitely like a suspense driven thing, or it's a horror or a mystery or something, and this book was one of the best books I've ever read, and the ending, the best ending I've ever, and like, listen, I fancy myself a pretty sharp tack. I don't watch very many movies, read very many books, watch very many shows that I don't figure out pretty early on like what's gonna happen. Ask my husband, he kind of thinks I'm psychic because of it, and I've always been that way. I've always just guessed pretty much instantly what's going on. And with this book, I really, like, I remember being about a quarter of the way in it. I'm getting ready to finish, and I'm just kind of like, all right, man, like, this is all gonna unplay exactly the way I knew it was going to, because the author did such a good job of like, the only way I can describe it is misdirection. She gets you focusing on this thing over here, and if you're me, you're so damned and determined to prove, like, I know this is what's happened and here's all the evidence to support what I believe is happening. And the ending was so incredible and creative and amazing. And I just remember being like, after it was over, I was just like, I have to read the whole thing again right now, because there's so many things along the way that you look at it when it's finished and all the dots connect. It was just so good. So good. Even if you're not like a super huge avid reader and you just would like to read like one of the best books you've probably ever read, pick it up. I will link it down below. Oh, so good. I've read a lot of really good books lately. Another one that I really liked, I posted it on my beauty Instagram, but I took it down because, like I said in my last video, I guess I kind of have a mental block about posting anything on there besides beauty. But the book was called A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. And oh, so good. Another one that I would like to read again as soon as possible, because the story was just so good, so well done. The characters were fleshed out perfectly. And I feel like a lot of books nowadays, I don't want to say that so much. I feel like most of the books I've read, at least between last year and this year, are done between multiple people's perspective. Like it switches back and forth between this person's perspective and this person's perspective. And it's kind of getting played out, especially because not everyone does it very well. But Paul Tremblay wrote each perspective that is in the book so differently and so accurate to that like it's told from the perspective of a woman as she's grown. I think she's like 24, and it bounces back and forth from present day her and I think she's like 8 or 9 year old her. And it's written like an 8 or 9 year old would think, like the way their stream of consciousness would be, and it's just so good. And it dealt with all these really interesting themes that I really tend to get hot to trot over. I really like anything that delves in with like the patriarchy and feminism and stuff like that. It's just the way that I am. You don't have to like it, but it's the truth. It was really good. It's really, really good. So if you like that one, I would not quantify as a suspense or a thriller. That to me was like a horror novel. It was scary. There were times that like I literally was like reading it and I was just like, like I wanted to put it down. And like, you ever see that episode of Friends where Joey's reading The Shining and he keeps putting it in the freezer when he's afraid? Like that's how I felt. My iPad was about to go in the freezer. But it was really good. Other cool stuff have I been into. Oh, I don't know if you guys like podcasts. And I feel like if you watch YouTube, you would like podcasts. I do. I'm assuming if you're on YouTube and you're watching it, especially if you watch it like regularly the way that I do, I just love independent content creation. Like I love it. And podcasts, it's a little bit harder. Is that true? It can be a little bit more difficult to find one that you really like, because you actually have to like search it, find it, listen to a few episodes, blah, blah, blah. I will tell you some of my favorite podcasts, because I think they should be out there in the universe. My favorite murder, I've talked about this before. If you like true crime, it's amazing. It's like the best, because true crime and stuff like that can be kind of depressing. Like I even go through phases where I'm like, all right, Whitney, you have to back off the true crime for a little bit because you're starting to think everyone wants to eat you. They do it in a way that is actually like really funny, which seems like impossible, but they are just hilarious. It's a woman named Georgia Hardstark and Karen Kilgariff, if I'm not mistaken. And they're just super entertaining to listen to, and it's amazing. There's a lot of episodes, so you could binge listen if you wanted. Another favorite of mine is Sword and Scale. It's another true crime podcast. That one is heavy. I'm just gonna warn you though, like I cannot binge listen to that one. I might be able to get through one story and then basically like have my entire like life shattered for a day or two and then pick that up. But the stories and the investigative journalism that the person, I don't know what the guy's name is that runs it, but he does a really good job like getting a lot of information out to you on those podcasts. And another one that I like a lot is called the No Sleep podcast. That one's a little bit newer to me, but it's, if you imagine like Tales from the Crypt or like Are You Afraid of the Dark, where it's like a bunch of scary stories, but these are like narrated to you obviously because it's a podcast and you're just listening to it. But not all the stories are winners. Some of them are kind of stupid, but some of them are so good and so scary and so crazy that like they just get stuck in your head and I can't stop thinking about some of them. So yeah, if you like true crime or scary stuff, those are good ones to check out. Ooh, girl, that's a little harsh. Oh my gosh, I hate when I do that. I don't care though. I mean, I already said this wasn't gonna be like the most beautiful makeup application in the world. I just wanted to get on camera and film something for you guys and talk to you. So I feel like the makeup look is kind of secondary in that process. So I'm not gonna highlight, I haven't been like regularly highlighting these days, but I'm really not gonna do it today because I have so much texture on my skin with my breakouts. So I'm just gonna hit it with my trusty dusty Hourglass lighting palette. For lips, I'm gonna do, let's see, I feel like this is not gonna look good together, but I can't make myself care today. So I knew I want to do something neutral but kind of dark. Everything's over there. This is what's in front of me. So we're doing Lolita. And I'm gonna take this color from MAC called Absolutely It to line my lips. Alright guys, it's the end of this really messy, super not perfect at all get ready with me video. I thought I would show you guys what the giveaway prize is. This is what Urban Decay sent me. They were super, super kind to do so. This box is kind of falling apart, so if I don't actually send it in this box, that's why. Oh my god! Forget it, I was trying to like present it all presentably. So you will be getting the 3 Naked palettes, the Naked 1, the Naked 2, and the Naked 3, and I'm also going to include the new Naked Go perfume oil that came with this little collection that they sent me, and this box is completely disintegrated by now, so I'm just going to go ahead and send this in a different type of box. So like, don't be upset if it doesn't come in like the PR box, but you get it regardless. So as I said before, the criteria is as follows. You must be subscribed to me on this channel right here. Also have to be following at least one of my Instagram accounts, whether it's the personal Instagram account or the beauty account. I don't really care which one. I want you to comment something below that makes you feel naked or vulnerable or something that's been weighing on your head or your heart. I just want to get to know my audience a little bit better, and I'm interested to see you guys kind of come out of your shells and share a side of yourself that is a little less perfect, which is like what social media kind of tends to do to us, doesn't it? So anyway, I hope you, oh my gosh, look, I just got that on my lid. That's great. That's great. Like, why not? I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Please thumbs up the video if you enjoy it. Check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms, which you have to do now anyway because you're trying to join this giveaway. I know you are. Thumbs up the video if you enjoy it, and I will catch you in the next one. Love you more than you will ever know. Bye! Woo! Whatever.